Hi everyone, and welcome to a Knit California vlog. My name is Leslie. I'm a knitter, crocheter, spinner, pattern designer, yarn enthusiast in Southern California, and today we are going to be working up and reviewing the Hooks and Needles subscription knit kit. The team over at Hooks and Needles reached out and asked if I would be interested in trying out one of their kits, and I said yes, absolutely, thank you so much. I have seen these all over Instagram and YouTube, but really I've only seen unboxing videos. I haven't seen anyone actually work up any of the projects from these kits. And so the team over at Hooks and Needles sent me the knit kit. I also have the crochet kit that I'm going to be working up and reviewing over on Instagram. So make sure you go follow me over on Instagram if you're interested in seeing that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Okay, if you have not heard of Hooks and Needles before, Hooks and Needles are a monthly subscription craft kit. You can choose between the knitting kit, the crochet kit, or a crochet amigurumi kit, which looked really cute, and have a full box sent to you each month. These boxes I think would be really great for people who want to get into crafting, if you're just learning how to knit or crochet, or for an experienced crafter who wants to learn some new skills along the way. So let's do a little unboxing here of the knit kit, and then I'm gonna show you which project I have decided to make, and we're gonna make it. Okay, so you open up the kit and the magazine just falls out. Okay, so for the first thing you see in here is the magazine, and what's in here is all of the info you need to get started. It talks to you about the benefits of knitting, it tells you about the yarn that's included in the kit, it talks to you about all of the other goodies that are included in the kit, and then there are 3 patterns in here. You have enough yarn and supplies to make one of the 3 patterns, whichever one you choose. And there's also a recipe of the month in here, which is pretty cool. We're gonna dig a little bit more into the pattern book in a little bit. Let me show you what else comes in here. So you can see right away we've got our 3 balls of yarn and then some extra goodies. Let me show you the yarn first. Okay, let's hold this in a nice way maybe. Okay, so here are the 3 yarns we have. The yarns are different every month in every box, which is pretty cool. So this month's yarn is called Merino Charm. It's 136 yards per 50 grams, and it's 100% unshrinkable extra fine merino wool, and it's made in Italy. And we've got 3 colors here, and I know from in the book there is information about the yarn in here. So it says, crafted from 100% extra fine unshrinkable merino wool made in Italy. Each of the 3 skeins weighs 50 grams and is 136 yards long. This yarn offers a luxurious and authentic crafting experience with a soft, smooth texture and durability for ease of care. As you knit this month's pattern with Merino Charm, take a moment to appreciate the love that lies within every stitch. That's so sweet. And this yarn is really soft. Okay, let me talk to you about the colors. So the purple here, this is Lavender Mist. The white is Ivory. And this one is pretty funny. Okay, tell me what color you think this is, because it looks orange. But this is Mustard Yellow. I am not making this up. Mustard Yellow. Look, I put on my orange nails to specifically match this color, so I'm probably going to be calling it orange throughout the whole video. I'm sorry. Okay, let me show you what else is in this box. One of the patterns calls for 2 buttons. So we've got 2 little buttons here, and then we've got all of these goodies. So we've got a set of 3 darning needles, a pair of gorgeous scissors, 1 double pointed needle. This is a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle, and a set of 2 circular needles. Again, US 4 3.5 millimeter needles. Let me show you the patterns that are included in this month's knit kit, and let me tell you which one I have decided to make in this video. So right under the yarn, you get a quick snapshot of the 3 patterns that are included in this month's kit. So we've got the Sunset Swirl Tote. This one is perfect for beginners. I was looking through this pattern and it's just 3 garter stitch rectangles that you sew up into a bag, and then you add the finishing touches. This is similar to like an I-cord edge, but I think you just cast on, knit around, and then bind it off. And then the strap. So again, like I said, perfect for beginners. The intermediate pattern in here is the Mug Cozy. This is the one that uses the 2 buttons because the cables look like a little owl. So you got little owl eyes. Very cute. And then lastly, okay, this is the Gradient Scarf. And this is the advanced pattern. There are QR codes on each of the pattern pages. The main QR code is for a digital version of the pattern, which is really nice if you want to get it on your iPad so you can like zoom in and mark it up. If you like to keep your patterns on like a digital device, that's there for you. And then for the Gradient Scarf, there's actually a QR code, and if you scan that, you get the whole colorwork knitting chart, which is really nice because the pattern instructions just look like this, line by line of knit 3 stitches in color A, knit 4 stitches in color B, and I don't know if I could handle that. So I'm really glad that the colorwork chart is included. It's not in the book, it's just in that QR code. Okay, but I have decided that I am going to knit up the Mug Cozy. I think this is going to be a really quick and easy knit, something that I can work up this afternoon, take you along with me, see how this yarn feels, see how I like the needles. Something I'm already noticing is these are, I think, bamboo or wood needles. Personally, you know, I have been knitting for about 3 or 4 years now. I do know that I typically like to use metal needles, so this will be a little bit of an experience. I am going to use all of the equipment that was included in the kit. I'm not going to be, you know, using my own needles or anything for this. One thing I will say is there's no like stitch markers or anything included in here, so if I decide I need, you know, like a stitch marker or something, I will add that on. I might use my row counter. You know, I have a hard time doing any sort of projects without my row counter. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm really excited to dig into this. So let's get into it. Okay, the description of the Mug Cozy, it says, "No more burned fingers. This cozy ensures a comfortable grip on your hot mug. I adore mug cozies because they keep my hands comfortable while sipping my favorite brew and making fantastic gifts for friends and family. Add cute buttons or any decorations on hand to make it even cozier." And okay, so this pattern, we're going to need our mustard yellow, aka orange, and our lavender mist color. So it's gonna be purple and orange. Theoretically I could switch it out and do like purple and white. I think that would be cute. Orange and white would make it pretty Halloween themed. No, I think we'll stick with the mustard yellow and lavender mist. I do really like these. And then it says we're going to need the 1 pair of circular needles and are the double pointed needle that's included. I think that's for the cables. I might try to do cables without a cable needle. A sewing needle, so one of the darning needles is included, scissors which are included, and the 2 buttons that are included. And then it shares the terms and abbreviations used, so knit, purl, cast off, cast on, cable 4 back, cable 4 front. Perfect. I think we're ready to go. First instruction, cast on 50 stitches. Let's do it. Okay, one of the things I'm noticing right away is these are like 9-inch circular needles. They are like the bamboo. The tips are pretty dull, so I'm gonna be interested to see how that goes. And this cable is pretty thick, so we'll see how that goes as well. But okay, my first instruction is to cast on 40 stitches. And okay, this is interesting as well. I was reading through the beginner pattern here, and it talks you through everything, how to cast on. And there's like all these pictures and stuff. The intermediate pattern, it just says cast on 50, and then it goes straight into the knit 2, purl 2. So the intermediate and advanced patterns are already assuming that you know some things about knitting, whereas the beginner one is going to explain a lot more stuff to you. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. Good thing I do have knitting knowledge. We're gonna cast on 50 here. Okay, this yarn is really interesting. That was 20. This yarn, this is a 6-ply yarn. Can you see that? And then each ply is like 2-ply. Like it's twisted around itself. Does that make it like considered 12-ply? It's really like squishy and bouncy, but it does look like it's gonna be really splitty. Okay, there we go. D stitches. Woo. Slip one stitch without casting on any stitch. Knit 2, purl 2. These needles are really like dull. The point is not sharp at all, and this yarn is splitty. I think I mentioned the yarn is different every month in every kit, so you know, I don't think this is the same yarn that you would be working with every month. And this is just the first round, so it's a little tight after my cast on. So hopefully once we get past this row, it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, we've got the first row done, and we have to do 6 rows total of this 2x2 rib. So I am going to work on this and then come back to you when we're gonna switch colors and get into the cables. Okay, so I finished. I actually did 8 rounds of 2x2 ribbing because I was looking at the photo and my 6 rounds just didn't look thick enough, and 8 rounds looks perfect. And I'm actually going to stick a little Progress Keeper, one of my new ones I just got at Flock, on the right side here so that I can remember which is the right side and which is the wrong side. Once I get the cable going, it shouldn't be an issue, but yeah, there we go. Cute. I wasn't recording when I first did the first row, but the pearl rows on the new color don't line up with the pearl rows from the ribbing, and you can see it. So hopefully once the whole thing is done, you won't notice it because you'll just be looking at the cables, but I thought that was interesting. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, we're finally gonna start our cables. Cable 4 back, cable 4 front, pearl 2. Okay, back, the front 2 stitches going back. I'm gonna attempt, okay, the cable. This is what the double pointed needle is for in the kit, is for the cables. I am going to attempt to cable without a cable needle because I learned how to do this in Ireland and it's been a while. And I would like to cable without a cable needle, but let's see if we can. If I can remember how to like hold the stitches properly. Probably easier. Let's use it for the first one because the first one is just like right on the edge here. Like that's annoying. Okay. Hold these in back. Am I supposed to bring this like around this way? Oh my god. This yarn is splitty. Okay, there we go. We did one back. So now we're gonna do front. Oh shit. I need Carol Feller. She's the one that taught me how to do this the first time. Okay, it would help if this yarn like was not like 12 plies. I need to watch a video. Duh. Okay, now I remember how to do this. That is exactly what I was taught before. Okay, so the next one is, so the first 2 stitches need to go in front, so the second 2 are gonna go in the back. So we're gonna pick these up. There we go. Wow, that was so much easier than what I was doing before. Okay, this yarn is still incredibly splitty though, which I don't like. Okay, one. Like, look at this. You probably can't see it, but. Okay, so back. There we go. Okay, we are rolling now. Hi. Okay, I have a confession to make. It's the next day. My camera batteries died, literally all of them. So I paused working on Miss Mug Cozy here, and I worked on a different project yesterday. But we are back, and I think it's time we finish this. I had a little look-see at the rest of the pattern, and I figured out the pattern in the pattern. Basically, I've got to do 3 more cables. So it's a cable round and then 5 rounds of, you know, knitting and purling. Cable round, 5 rounds of knitting and purling, cable round, 1 round of knitting and purling, and then we're back to the orange ribbing of the top. So I think this is going to be doable. I still can't believe I forgot how to cable without a cable needle. I'm just really glad that I refreshed myself on that skill and ready to keep going on this. Let's see, do we have any other plans for the day? No, I filmed my podcast, episode 27. That will go live way before this video will. And yeah, now we're gonna work on our little mug cozy. Okay, gotta figure out What should we watch today while we work on our mug cozy? I think I have one more episode of the new Emily in Paris season, at least the first part of it that's out now. So maybe we go chill knit in bed and watch Emily in Paris. How does that sound? Sounds great to me. Let's go. I think I messed up. I think my first cable does not have enough rows. Do we just make it a mini cable? I think we just make it a mini cable. I don't really want to frog it, but number 2 looks great. Okay, so I think we finished the cables. I did an extra 2 rows on the top of the last cable. I don't know, hopefully just to like offset a little bit the short cable I did at the bottom. It's gonna be fine. It's just a mug cozy, okay? But now we are going to swap back to orange. Oh, sorry. Mustard yellow. And we're just gonna do 6 rounds of 2x2 rib. Actually, let me double check. Is there a knit round first? 1 stitch, knit 2, purl 2, repeat 5 rounds. And then we're going to, it says cast off. We're gonna bind off. And then it says to sew the edges together, weave in the ends, and attach the buttons. I think I'm gonna give it a good steam block before I attach the sides. I'm also thinking like, okay, hold on. We need to have a conversation about how this is attached to a mug. Okay, if this is an enclosed object, this is also gonna be really small. If this is an enclosed object, how are you supposed to put it around your mug if it's sewed up? So I think we're gonna change the way that it attaches. I think we're gonna I'm gonna attempt to use the 2 buttons. These might be a little small, but what I think I'm actually gonna do is sew the 2 buttons onto one edge of this and then make like a little tiny loop on the other edge with a piece of yarn so that it stays flat, and then we can put it on and off and attach it this way. I'm gonna need a way smaller mug. I mean, I know this will stretch, right? This will stretch, but I don't think it would stretch enough, at least around this mug. Definitely not. I've got a lot of thick mugs. I think this is just like a gauge thing. Like, my gauge is pretty tight in general. Like, if this pattern was written for 3.5mm needles, you know, I typically would go up to a 4 and, you know, would be able to make gauge that way. Should I have like added one more cable? Maybe, but like, wanted to try to follow the pattern to the best of my abilities, you know? But we'll see how it turns out. And maybe I should just give this a full wet block. That might make it, you know, grow a bit more. The interesting thing about the yarn, and I don't know if this is like an Italian thing or if this is just like a hooks and needle thing, is that it says it's 100% unshrinkable merino. So like, I've never worked with any merino that shrinks, but you know, superwash is meant, well, not it's meant to, but superwash has a reputation for growing. So like, if it's unshrinkable, is it also ungrowable? Like, will this stretch out if I wash it, or is it just gonna stay the same? I don't know, we're gonna find out. Guess what, it's done. Ooh, all the ends are woven in. Okay, look, it's got a decent amount of stretch here. So I'm feeling like we're gonna be able to fit it around a mug. Again, maybe not this mug specifically, because this one is wide. See? But I gotta go take a look at in our mug cabinet. But I think I'm gonna block this. I think I'm gonna full wet block it. I think it needs it. I think it really needs to like open up. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let's go block it. Okay, I've made a discovery. I don't even know how you're supposed to attach these buttons onto the mug cozy, because the darning needles that they give you are not small enough to fit through the eye of these buttonholes. And I don't know if you're supposed to attach them like with the yarn. Like, this is pretty thick also compared to these buttonholes. And again, you can only, if you sew up the sides, then you can only use this mug cozy on mugs that don't have handles. So I think we're gonna go digging in my button stash and see if I can find something else that will work for this, for what I want to do. Okay, let's go. Okay, perfect, that was easy. I have these leftover, there we go, can you see them now? I have these like leftover tortoiseshell buttons. So I think I just need like 2 or 3 of these, and that'll be perfect to make like a clasp. Oh, sorry if you can hear the fan. It'll make the mug cozy removable. We're gonna try this out. Okay, so here's the final design. Okay, 2 buttons, which like, I wouldn't normally sew them on with elastic, but I sewed them on with elastic. And then 2 ties, and so when I put this around a mug, I can tie these into little bows around the buttons. And that'll be it. It'll look like that. Yay! Can't wait to try this out tomorrow morning. And just like that, our mug cozy is complete and functional. Look, I did have a hard time tying these. I should have made them a little bit longer, or something that like, maybe the elastic would have come in handy if I had just done like an elastic strap to go around them. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I have some overall thoughts on the knitting experience and the final product, and so we're gonna go over that now. So in terms of this project, this was the intermediate project in the box, so it didn't have as many detailed instructions as the beginner pattern did, which was totally fine for me. I am an experienced knitter. I could have knit the advanced pattern in this box and I like would have been fine with it. If you are a more beginner knitter, I think this pattern would have been like interesting or like a really great option. I just realized that I put it on upside down. Oh well, doesn't matter. This pattern would have been a great option for you if you like haven't tried cables before, or maybe you've done like one small cable project and want to do another one, something like that. In terms of like the actual project itself, so you know, I knit this on the needles that came in the box, the 3.5mm needles, but you can see that like even this is one of my like skinnier mugs and it doesn't fit all the way around the mug. So gauge for me was definitely an issue here. I mean, surprise, surprise, gauge is like always an issue for me. If I was knitting this pattern like on my own outside of a kit, I definitely would have gone up a needle size to a 4mm needle, and that would have, I think, allowed me to actually meet the measurements that the project requires. Not a big issue here. I was able to, you know, MacGyver this to fit around a mug, so that's okay. The one thing I will say is the pattern, nowhere in the book, I don't remember seeing at least, anything that said like, you know, this is for a handleless mug, and that's what the design really is. You're supposed to sew this up and then, you know, just slide it onto a mug that doesn't have a handle. I don't think that's a great design. I don't have any mugs that don't have handles, so I don't know how popular that really is amongst people in general. So I didn't really like that. The other thing too is the tiny buttons that you're meant to sew on in the middle of one of the cables. The kit does not give you a needle size that is small enough to fit through the eye of those buttons, and they don't give you anything to like sew it on with, unless you're supposed to be using the yarn. But the yarn was like way too thick to even fit through the darning needles that they did give you, let alone something small enough to fit through the tiny holes in those buttons. So that was kind of a miss for me. I did not even put those on. I put on, as you saw, these larger buttons that I just had in my stash, and I was able to spare 2 of. So that was also a miss for me. I think overall, like, this mug cozy does fit nicely on this one mug that I found. It probably could have been a little shorter, although I did do, you know, 4 extra rows on the ribbing, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, so maybe that was my bad, but I made up for it with the one cable that I messed up and didn't do enough rows on, so that's okay. I mean, overall, this was a really quick project, so I did like that, and it was nice to kind of get back into a little bit of rhythm with the cables after I relearned how to cable without a cable needle. So I did like that for just like a quick little palette cleanser, and I think these projects would be really good in that regard if you are a little bit more of an experienced knitter, and you just want something like once a month, like quick, easy, done, don't have to think about it. The yarn just comes, you know, it comes delivered to me. It's basically a mystery. You don't know what's going to be in the kit before you get it, and you can just have fun with it. So in terms of the other projects in the book, the swirl tote, this is definitely the beginner friendly project. The one thing I will say about this, again, just thinking about if I were to knit this, would be the gauge. Like, if I'm gonna be knitting this on 3.5mm needles, I don't think my bag would come out to be this size. I think it would end up being a lot smaller. Again, that's something that I know with my experience, but as a newer knitter, even if this is one of your first knitting projects, you may not know what your gauge is at all, and it could change kind of partially through the project. Just something to keep in mind. And then lastly, for the advanced pattern in here, the Colorwork Cowl. This is the Gradient Cowl. The name is wrong on the title of this page. This does look really cute. It kind of looks a little bit annoying to knit though if you're going to, you know, read these pages of instructions, or like I mentioned at the beginning, there is a QR code with the chart, but it's just one page and it's like kind of really small. You would have to print this out, I think, on like an 11 by 17 inch paper would probably be big enough, or print it out in chunks. And again, with my gauge, I would definitely want to go up to a 4mm needle, especially with it being color work. But again, that's just something that I know. Overall, I did really enjoy this project, even though there were some hiccups along the way. And I would recommend one of these kits, again, maybe as a gift for someone who's looking to get into crochet or knitting. Maybe they've done a couple projects and like a couple small projects, and this, like, you know, all-encompassing kit would be good for them. I remember when I first started crocheting, like really getting into the craft again, in 2020, I actually started with a crochet kit. It was a monthly kit. It was like a blanket thing, so every month you got yarn to make a couple squares. And that was like such a fun way for me to get back into crocheting, learning all these different stitches, and I think this kit is like a very similar vibe, where you can get it once a month. You don't have to worry about figuring out how much yarn you need, what size needle you need. All of that is already included and figured out for you. So that's one of the like really positive things about the subscription kit. The other thing I want to mention is there is subscription flexibility. So when you buy your first box, you are signing up for a monthly subscription, but Hooks and Needles is really flexible. You can cancel at any time, or you can pause a month if you need to. So that's all of my thoughts and feelings and finished project with the Hooks and Needles knit kit. If you are interested in trying out one of these boxes for yourself or gifting to a friend, I have a discount code for 20% off in the description box down below. You can use the code, what's the code? You can use the code KnitCalifornia20, like I said, for 20% off your first month. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun. Thank you again. Let me get the box, hold on. Thank you again to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video and for sending me both the knit and crochet kit to test out. Like I said, I had a lot of fun with it, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye!